saying?
We've got live audio on YouTube.
Live audio on YouTube?
In fact, let's just go live.
Let's just go live. Let's just do it.
There we are.
All right. Playback should be from there. What is going on? That was it. Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, Podfeed. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You seem to look a little different tonight.
Yep. I'm doing my, what's his name? What's his name impression?
Stevie
The
Wonder?
pianist? Is it Stevie Wonder who did? No. Ray Charles. Or is it Stevie Wonder? Maybe it was Stevie Wonder. I'm
Ray.
incognito. All right. So I'm going to take roll call first. We've got Steve and Sandy and Kevin and Alan and George, Jerry Jr. Troy's always faking. Dorothy's here. I don't see either of the Johns. I got Rose, Rick C., somebody coming in on Titanbot, and Frank pulling up the rear there. So we can either go with the sunglasses or don't let the children watch.
You seem to be dilated in one eye there, Podfeed.
And if you were looking closely,
Wait,
you'll
let
notice...
me do that again. Let's
You
go
want a screenshot?
full frame. Whoops, wrong one.
Make sure it's full frame.
There we go.
So you'll notice some fun things like there's a mark above my eye to make sure they did the right eye. And I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that there's actually dots on my eye?
I'll put the frame shot in the chat room.
So you can actually see where they drew on my eyeball. So anybody who doesn't know, I had cataract surgery today. So they pull your lens out and they put a man-made lens inside. And the amazing part is I can focus at computer distance now because they put in a toric lens that compensates for my astigmatism.
Cool.
So what do you guys want? You want this? Actually, I'll probably have to turn off one of these lights. That one's kind of bothering me.
Turn off whatever you need to.
Flickers too. Okay, let's try.
Your comfort is the most important right
Well,
now.
I can wear sunglasses too. Hey Siri, turn off Al's den light.
10-4.
See if that works today.
Some lights didn't respond.
You
So
are
Alan,
such a jerk.
you don't see the dots, but if you click on the photo that I put in the chat, it will come to full size, and then you should be able to see the tiny dot just to the right of her iris, inside her eye.
So we have to have a conversation with that Wemo switch, Steve. I can turn it off using the home app. That's what
Whoop.
I just did.
Okay,
Oh, it just got real dark, didn't it?
a little darker, yeah.
Well, you can have this.
Whatever's more comfortable for you.
I think I actually might like that better.
Okay.
But if anybody comes in who hasn't seen it, that's okay. That would be fun. Yeah. So anyway, I had an astigmatism, and I no longer have an astigmatism. They fixed it. I don't have an astigmatism. So my new glasses will be much cheaper, but I don't think I get glasses for a while. You have to wait for your prescription to settle out. So I'm not exactly sure how I go outside and like drive or anything.
This will be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Rick likes it much better with my eyes covered up. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, isn't it? All right, let me do
And that's after what, 7 hours of...
Oh, yeah. Well, they started dilating it at about 7:15, 7:30.
Yeah,
Right?
so it's been longer, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 10 hours. I thought it'd be done by now. Okay, I'm going to start... Let me try a test recording. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Okay, now I'm going to hit playback, make sure the live show can hear it. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Stay inside with your gin and tonics. I binge watched Grey's Anatomy today with no guilt.
Hopefully there are no eye surgery episodes today.
Yeah, really. No, they didn't. They were doing spinal surgery. All right, I think I should get going, Steve, because I
agree.
It is a giant show. All right, here we go. Muting Steve. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. a Technology Geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Monday, February 4th, 2019, and this is show number 717. Well, I can prove to you that the NosillaCast never misses a show because I had eye surgery today. I actually had a cataract removed, so I have a brand new, shiny, man-made lens in my right eye, which means I no longer have an astigmatism in my right eye, which I've had for pretty much my entire life, near as I can remember. And so the fun thing is I will no longer need glasses when I'm working on my computer, but I also can't get glasses prescriptions for a while because my prescription won't have settled out. So I'm not sure what's going to go on, but here's why you want to go to the live show. The live show got to see my eyes with one giant dilated eye and the other one not dilated. So, you know, you're missing that when you join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways in the live show. But we have another mammoth show this week. We've got 6 interviews from CES because in theory, it was going to be a light show without security bits. One thing I do want to make sure I remember to say, because I forgot to say it for the last 2 weeks, these recordings from CES are also video. If you hear about something cool and you can't quite picture it, please follow the links in the show notes to go see the videos. Steve has done a great job with these. They're really fun. They're really great. And you get to actually see the stuff that we were talking about. But we don't just have those 6 interviews. I've got 2 fairly long stories to tell you. Kevin Alder, also known as Big in Virginia, has his first take on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Also, Bart Busschots is going to chime in with his thoughts on social media after listening to last week's Chit Chat Across the Pond with Shai Yamini. I've also got a couple of announcements to get out of the way first, so let's dig in. Is it not stopping? Come on, stop. It's weird. I can't stop. Oh, because I'm hitting the wrong button. There we go. I just realized you said Shai had a bit for this. Oh, I guess it did. Shai is in it.
He has an interview.
That's right. That's right. But it's also Bart.
Well, I guess he is technically a NosillaCast way, but he's in there every week, so I didn't feel the need to call.
It's a review from him, yeah.
Oh, it's a review? Okay.
Well, it's a conversation, so. All right, we got to do some announcements. Did I say announcements? I've also got a couple of announcements to get out of the way first, so let's dig in. Yeah, I think I won't do it. I don't usually do a chapter marker for the announcements, but I've got lots of them. So I will in a minute, Kevin, I promise, but I did save. More beer. All right. Back up here. Muting Steve. Chit Chat Across the Pond this week was another installment of Programming by Stealth. We shift gears a bit away from web pages to start looking at how to write web apps as we explore the usage and code behind Bootstrap modals and toasts. It's a combination of HTML, Bootstrap for styling, and JavaScript for actions, so it starts flexing all of our programming muscles. In a little bit, you'll hear a story of how I actually used the programming skills that I've learned in Programming by Stealth, and I'm very, very proud of my little self. But in the meantime, you can find the latest installment of Programming by Stealth in your podcatcher of choice or listen over at podfeet.com. Speaking of Bart, he was the latest guest on the Mac Quadcast with Darren Carr. You know, even though Bart and I have talked for literally thousands of hours, I learned things about him that I didn't know. I got to tell you, I nearly fell over laughing when he referred to Windows ME as a buggy, crashy piece of poop. Anyway, Darren asked some questions I've never thought to ask him, and it's absolute loads of fun. Bart's in a great mood. He's all happy. It's fun. Darren's a great interviewer. It's really great. You should go check it out at themacquad.com or search for the Mac Quadcast in your podcatcher of choice. Well, I was on the Daily Tech News show last week with Sarah Lane while Tom was away on vacation. The discussion topic was about Facebook's research tool. If you want to hear me lose my ever-loving mind about it, check it out at dailytechnewsshow.com, episode 3458, or look in your podcatcher of choice for the title, Should Be Against the Terms of Wrong. All right, last announcement, I promise. This week, my video tutorial about Jump Desktop was published on Screencast Online. Jump Desktop is a fantastic remote desktop application that lets you control Macs and PCs anywhere in the world with no kind of networking faffing about. And you can do it from an iPad, iPhone, Mac, PC, or even Android. I posted a teaser video about it over on podfeet.com. Now remember, Screencast Online is a paid-for tutorial service, but you can watch all of the back catalog with a free 7-day trial. Don't do it, though, because you'll get hooked. Okay, Tessa, you need to stay in the other room. Has it maybe been a long time since she's been out? She's pacing back and forth. Okay, now I will save and add chapter markers. All right. Okay, we are going to talk about OmniLabs. Oh, wait. Wait. Did I grab the wrong one? Is this the robotics one, Steve? I can't, here. It is?
I believe it is. Do you want me to verify
I
that?
thought you did the one about remember there's two companies called Omni?
No.
Yeah, there's Omni is a company that made a charger that's got, it's a USB-C charger. You can charge a laptop, but you can also do Qi charging on top.
Have we done that already?
I thought that's the one you did this week, but maybe not.
I don't think so. Let me look at the list.
Okay.
Are you thinking of Ampere?
No. There's two.
There's only one OmniLabs.
Well, the other one's Omni, but it's not OHMI. It's not OH. It's OMNI. Omni.
I'm searching through the company names and I don't see an Omni.
Okay, you're in the Airtable?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's
Our Airtable is cool.
OmniCharge. We haven't gotten to that. That's
we
not
haven't. Okay.
That's not for. I think that'll be next week.
Because that's the one I was actually excited about.
No, that's actually in a couple weeks.
Okay, so OmniLabs.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't do the introduction about because I was going to say I'm super excited. This one's just kind of fun. All right. Because you'll get hooked.
I'm talking to Dr. Traub. And the CTO, Jared Go, is waving his arms around here and the robot hands are moving. What is it? What is going on here? What are we looking at?
We are looking at custom-made robotic arms that we...
Okay. We definitely do not have time to listen to any of these.
How about Shies? I think we should at least listen to Shies.
Yeah, but we've got a lot to go.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Let me put a chapter mark here. So next is Kevin. We're going to listen to Kevin's. Guess I got to put a chapter marker in it. iPad Pro. And there's the title and the link. Copy link. All right. And now it's time to listen to NosillaCastaway Kevin Alder, also known as Big in Virginia. Let's have a listen. All right, so that one is here. You know what the best thing has been dark mode. I got to tell you, I am a big fan. Okay, I think that's a little tick mark. Let me listen. Let's have a listen. Okay, yeah. Cut that. Ugh. All right. Virginia. Let's have a listen.
Hello, Allison, Wingman Steve, Sandy, and all my fellow Nosilla castaways. Kevin here with my initial impressions and review of my new 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which my amazing wife was kind enough to give me for Christmas. I got the 512 gigabyte space gray Wi-Fi only model. Local storage is important to me because I don't trust public Wi-Fi, and I am too cheap to pay for extra cellular data when I can't find a trusted hotspot. While there have been many reviews and commentaries on the new iPads, I was ordered by Allison, just kidding Allison, that after I tweeted about receiving and setting up my new iPad Pro, I should do a review. With encouragement from my fellow Nosilla castaways, Sandy and Ian, to do it, here it is. The iPad Pro is an amazing and versatile device. While this is not my first iPad, it is actually my fourth. Don't judge me. It is the most functional of them all. This is my first device with Face ID, and I'd have to say it is great. It makes things a lot easier and faster to unlock the device. My iPhone 7 Plus works great with Touch ID, but because I have some sort of weird skin, it only works about 80% of the time, which is okay, but I am getting spoiled with Face ID. The great functionality of the iPad can be broken down into two categories. First is the hardware, and second is the OS and applications. Let's start with the hardware. I have, for various reasons, been transitioning over the last 18 months from a Mac based workflow to a more iOS based workflow for my personal stuff. The iPad Pro has left my poor 27-inch iMac wanting and starving for attention even more since it arrived. I have found that with the iPad Pro and a keyboard, they more than satisfy all my document creation needs in iOS. I currently use a Logitech K480 Bluetooth keyboard with my iPad and other iOS devices. It works very good, but isn't the most portable keyboard I could use. More on that in a bit. This combo allows me to be more mobile than I ever was with my iMac, and without the burden of carrying around a Mac laptop, either at home or at the office. The freedom this iPad gives me, as well as the previous models did to a lesser degree, is great. On our last vacation, I went without a laptop and was iOS only, and it was great. Now, as for the apps and the OS side of things, while iOS 12 is definitely moving in the direction of being a fully fledged OS, there are still some shortcomings that need to be addressed, like easy access to external physical storage and improved support for USB-C connected devices, like the aforementioned drives and external displays. As for apps, almost all of my apps take advantage of the split screen capabilities, which is great for the large screen, but a real bummer when they don't. Better audio recording apps are coming, and I'm looking into them all the time for doing things just like this review. No Apple or other technology product is complete, it seems, without buying some accessories, and I have done that. To protect my iPad, I bought from Amazon the Pro Case iPad with Apple Pencil Holder Folio case. It was $24.99, link included. The name just rolls off your tongue, I know. This case is the style I have always preferred for my iPads and accommodates my method of working and use. I have also purchased the new Apple Pencil and am just now getting used to it. While I am no artist and have done one drawing with it, the quality of the drawing is awful, but the overall experience was fun, relaxing, and enjoying. Who knows, I may get brave enough to share some of my artwork online at some point for everyone to have a giggle at. My next purchase, I think, will be the Apple Smart Folio keyboard because I like the compact, lightweight style it provides as opposed to my current setup, and it will greatly enhance my computing experience. So I guess to sum things up, my initial impressions of the iPad Pro are 4 out of 5 stars for a rating. The hardware is easily 5 out of 5 stars. It is some of the software and the OS that hold it back from what I can see at this point from being a complete home run. Some of my favorite apps are not yet fully optimized for iOS 12. They are slowly moving that way, and I hope that iOS 13 pushes them in that direction even faster. Either way, I am a 90% iOS-based workflow guy at this point, and I'm hoping to get to 100% as soon as I can. Heck, I wrote and recorded this on Precious the 3rd, aka my new iPad Pro. Thanks, and I hope you found this commentary useful. If you care to hear more from me, you can always follow me on Twitter at BIG_IN_VA, or I occasionally am a co-host over on the Geekiest Show Ever, which can be found at geekiestshowever.com. If none of that works, you can usually find me and the rest of the castaways in the chat room on Sunday nights as I protect Wingman Steve and try to keep Allison on the straight and narrow.
Good job, Kevin.
That was excellent.
That was great.
Well done, Kevin.
So did you use Ferrite to record? I know a lot of people are crazy about it. I can't get the hang of it. I keep trying it. So,
You
save
did.
add chapter markers. I should.
You
Oh yeah,
did
you
use-
did. Okay. I can't get the hang of it. I don't know what it is, but I just I don't know. I don't know about that. All right. I haven't heard back from this solo guy.
Oh, the backpack guy.
Yeah.
What were you trying to do?
I can't find the bag that he showed me.
Oh, that's right. Right.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to say that. All right. Muting Steve. Wait, what happened? Why couldn't I hear Kevin? What happened? Why can't I hear Kevin? Can you guys hear Kevin when I'm playing Matt Beck?
Nope. Cannot hear. Did something change?
No.
I see
What
it.
did I do?
I see the audio waveform.
Yeah. Why can I not? That's not good. Go to the front.
And the audio meter is activated.
Today is Monday, February, and I can hear me.
Is it on a different channel? The interview
It's
channel
on a
is
different
muted?
track.
Is that
It's on a
muted?
different track, but no, it's not muted. And we just heard it. What the heck happened?
It's a monitor
Okay,
situation.
now it's muted. No, it's not muted.
And the monitor is activated.
No, it's not. Watch. If I don't talk,
Oh, it's you talking. Okay. Toggle the mute switch. I guess you did.
I've toggled it like 5 times. I'm gonna quit and reopen.
All right. Did you save?
Of course I did. Kevin told me to.
Whoop.
Reset sessions. This is weird. Okay. Hi, this is Allison. Wait, now I can't hear the music track. Oh, this is bad, you guys. Share it into the NosillaCast. This is a new version of I installed a new version right before the show.
A new version of.
I can't hear that track at all. A new version of Hindenburg. This isn't good at all. This is catastrophic. Okay, so you might want to show my screen for a minute.
All right.
Actually,
You're
one
s-
thing I could do.
I seem to have lost your screen.
Lost my screen.
Hold on. Is that it? No, yeah. I lost your screen.
Aren't I screen sharing on the second Mimo call?
Well, when you quit,
Oh, I quit and lost it. That's what it is. I can fix that. Hang on. One moment. Severe technical difficulties shall follow.
sausage being made
Okay.
by
see it
hand.
now?
Yes, Kevin. Yes.
Yeah. So that's not good. Is there
Well, the audio is there. I'm wondering if it would. Well, you can't do any editing though.
Oh, I found it. I bumped the solo track on my track. That's what
Oh.
I did.
Let's hear it.
There we go.
_IN.
That's what it was. Okay. Because there's 2 ways you can mute. Is you can make something be solo, which means nothing else can be heard, or you can do mute track by track.
Oh, solo was just coincidental.
Yep. Oops. All right, here we go. Muting Steve.
Wingman Steve and try to keep Allison on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, he tries to keep me on the straight and narrow, but it doesn't work. But it is nice that he has a wingman. But hey, I have a wing woman. That's Sandy. So you know what? We've got a united force. We keep this thing going. But thanks a lot, Kevin. That was a really good review. I like the balance that you brought, and I'll be curious to see how you do with recording with it. That's pretty cool. All right, next is solo. Just gonna come in here. Just check the beginning here. You do with recording with it. That's pretty cool.
Well, it's really hard to grab somebody's attention. It's a yes because
Okay, these are really cool bags.
Did you do a chapter mark?
Yes, I did. Thank you. But I'm gonna do Patreon right after this. So I'm gonna do a little ad lib here for a moment.
So much for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Well, can you tell I really liked that zipper? It really was amazing. There's one problem here. I've gone searching for the bag he showed me on their website, on all the different places they said they had it. They had it. He said Amazon, he said Walmart, he said Macy's, he said Target, he said all these other companies. I have not been able to find that exact bag, and I think maybe it isn't out yet. So anyway, I have a note into him to hopefully be able to find that. If you get value out of all the hard work Steve does to create the video and audio interviews for the podcast, consider becoming a patron of the Podfeet podcast. All you have to do is go over to podfeet.com/Patreon and choose a weekly dollar amount to help support the show. Now, if you have a fear of commitment, you could always go to podfeet.com/PayPal and put in a one-time donation. I got to tell you, he just got a new boom arm for his microphone because of your help to support the show. Ha! Threw you on that one, Steve, didn't I?
Ha!
Ha. See, that's just to get Kevin off my back. All right. We're going to talk about me now.
Me world.
I'm going to call this. All right. You guys can play along. Go to podfeet.com on any device you like and click on subscribe to the podcast and be amazed. Rotate your devices. Try it on the phone. Try it landscape. Try a portrait. Try it on an iPad. Turn it. Try it on your computer. Shrink it and biggen it. It's amazing. Wait till you see it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Nope. Gotta start. Okay, right there. When I retired, I decided that one of my goals was to learn to program. You see, I took BASIC in college in 1976 and later Fortran 4 with Watt 5 when I was in grad school. In 1982, in my master's project in mechanical engineering, I actually used the Fortran that I learned. By the way, it's called the development of clearances in a spatial revolute joint, if you're interested. But I hadn't programmed anything in the ensuing 31 years. Obviously, programming has become all the rage and no longer isolated to the dusty back rooms of a mechanical engineering lab using punch cards and a mainframe. I was curious to see if at the ripe old age of 55, I could learn to program using modern languages and if I could figure out some problems to solve with it. I was also highly influenced by Dr. Marianne Gary, who came on Chit Chat Across the Pond several years ago. She explained that one of the ways you can increase your odds of staving off Alzheimer's is to take on something that is very mentally challenging for you and master it. Now all I needed was someone to teach me to code. Luckily, Bart Busschots agreed to help me with this quest, and that was the genesis of Programming by Stealth. We started the podcast on October 9th, 2015, and every other week for the last 3.5 years, Bart has been slowly but surely building up our programming skills, starting with HTML, then CSS, then JavaScript, and now into Bootstrap. I'm giving you all of this background just to tell you the story of how incredibly powerful I felt last week when I created something beautiful and useful to you using those hard-earned programming skills. Now, I can finally explain the problem to be solved. You may not have noticed, and maybe nobody's ever noticed, but on every podfeet.com page, there's a little menu bar at the top. The first link is called Subscribe to the Podcast. You might see it as a little hamburger menu if you're on an iPhone or another kind of device. Anyway, subscribe to the podcast is not a big red button, but maybe it should be now. It's just a quiet little link. In this day and age, it may not even be necessary. If I suggest you subscribe to Programming by Stealth, you're probably just going to go open your podcatcher of choice and do a quick search and tap the plus button, so you probably don't even need this page. But anyway, the page hadn't been updated since I did the major redesign a few years ago. I created it using a tool called Layout Builder from my WordPress theme vendor, Site Origin. I designed this page, but as my father would have said, this page is ugly as sin. The podcast logos are in the first row, and for the life of me, I was never able to get them aligned vertically. So the NosillaCast logo was way below Chit Chat Across the Pond and Taming the Terminal. Chit Chat Across the Pond Lite and Programming by Stealth aren't even on the page yet because they weren't invented. The second row was for the logo and link to download on iTunes. When's the last time you used iTunes for a podcast? Well, next up, I had the RSS feed logo and link, and that's probably going to live on forever, so that one's okay. Finally, I had Stitcher Radio, which was an up-and-coming service for a few minutes right around the time I created the page. The text on this page is too small. There's lines around the rows and columns to ensure I keep the ugliest sin insult intact. And to put the final cherry on top, the page is not responsive to screen sizes. On a narrow screen like an iPhone, the icons all jam up together, and there's no way I could add in the two missing podcasts. Other than that, the page looks awesome. Well, the first path I went down was to recreate the page, but still using the page layout builder from SiteOrigin. The advantage of this approach is that you drag in little blocks representing rows and columns with graphics and text without needing to do any design of the layout. Now, the tools do all of the styling for you, but you have overrides available to modify your needs. One of the biggest advantages of using the page layout builder was that if properly designed, it would be responsive to different screen sizes. As Bart has taught us in Programming by Stealth, the new mantra in web design is mobile first, because that's where most content is consumed these days. A responsive design was critical. By the way, that says Manta, not mantra. How come nobody knows? Oh, I didn't let Steve test this one. Manta. Okay, why are all my things... I'm in Do Not Disturb. Apparently not on that.
What's coming up?
Tomorrow night, date night with Dorothy and Mark. In Fire Post. All right. Wait, the icons line up horizontally if I don't use reader view. Oh, used reader view on it? I see. Okay. Right. Okay, there we go. Okay, back to it. Whoop. My new design layout idea was to have one row for each podcast instead of a column. Each row would have three major elements. On the left, I wanted a big version of the given podcast logo. On the right, say 75% of the row would be some brief text describing the podcast. Below the text, I wanted a row of very small podcatcher icons. Each podcatcher icon would have the name of the software right below it. Tapping on the appropriate podcatcher logo on a mobile device should take you right to the podcast in the app. If you clicked on the icon on the desktop, it should open a browser window for the podcatcher pointing to the correct podcast. I wanted the text and the podcatcher icons to take up about the same height as the big podcast logo on the left. Well, great news. I was able to mock this idea up very quickly using my SiteOrigin tools. Now, I told you we're supposed to be doing mobile first, but the description and design I just detailed was how it would look on a wide computer screen. The small screen should see something very different. My plan was to have the collapsed version show the big podcast logo at the top, below that the text, and below that the horizontal row of small podcatcher icons. Well, the SiteOrigin page builder tools did not do that. Sure, it floated the big podcast icon to the top, and right below that it nicely put the text, but instead of allowing the four podcatcher icons to be in a horizontal row where they had plenty of room to fit, it made them all one long vertical column. It was 3 page swipes on an iPhone to get to the bottom of just one podcast. No one would ever find the last podcast because they'd be at the surgeons getting help with repetitive stress injuries from scrolling. Well, I pay for premium support at SiteOrigin because I get great value for the theme, which is free, but with premium support, I get quick response via email to my queries. I asked SiteOrigin how to make that little row of icons stay horizontal, and my little friend Alex explained that it was impossible with this tool. I'm happy when someone tells me the actual answer, even if it's not what I wanted to hear. I explained to Alex that this was frustrating because I knew it could be done in Bootstrap, as I'd learned from Bart in Programming by Stealth. Alex said, "I'm not sure you can do that. It's definitely possible. It's just not something I would personally recommend." I then recalled several months earlier when I'd asked the same question of the Bootstrap guy, of the SiteOrigin guys, and I'd gotten the same answer. I inferred from what he said that it would do some sort of damage to my site, that there would be unpredictable behavior with my theme. So I had abandoned that whole path of trying to do it by hand. But later, while talking to Alex, it occurred to me he didn't actually say it would damage anything. He said I wouldn't recommend it. I asked him why he wouldn't recommend it. His answer floored me. He said, "I've personally never been a fan of Bootstrap." Well, that's a horse of a different color now, isn't it? I was a bit peeved that he led me astray for all this time. I asked him whether he'd used Bootstrap 4 because according to Bart, it's miles and miles better than Bootstrap 3. Okay, probably would have said kilometers and kilometers, but you know what I mean. Alex said he had not tried Bootstrap 4 and perhaps he should give it a second look. Of course, I told him to go listen to and read Programming by Stealth. Okay, so now I know that no hole in the space-time continuum is going to occur if I try my hand at designing the page using Bootstrap and good old-fashioned HTML. I launched my code editor, the $15 app called Code Runner by Nikolai Krill, and I got down to business. Now, you might be afraid at this point. I'm going to tell you step by step everything I did to program this page, but luckily I'm going to be slightly less verbose than that. I did want to tell you why Bootstrap is so cool. With HTML, you can type in what you see on a web browser, things like images and links. You then style the web page using CSS or cascading style sheets. CSS lets you hand code everything from the color of a link to the size of a drop shadow on an image to the margins around that image. Bootstrap is a collection of libraries that make it far easier to style a web page. One of the most powerful things it makes easy is creating columns and rows of information. It also has what they call breakpoints, which are for different size devices. The devices are, they start with XS, which is extra small. So that's for, say, phone widths. S is for, say, a landscape phone. M is a small tablet. Then there's L and XL for large tablets and computer screens. Because of these size classes in Bootstrap, you get to define exactly what the layout looks like for every size or group of sizes. In a few days, I had a good working mock-up of what I wanted, and it looked great. I showed it off to our Slack group in the PBS channel at podfeed.com/Slack if you're interested. I got a lot of fun feedback from Marianne, Alistair, and Caleb. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody else. A bunch of people were very encouraging, and I got a few suggestions on how to make it look even better. I set the breakpoints, and finally that little row of icons popped below the text and stayed as a row. It looked great. It brought a tear to my eye. And remember, I said I've been working with the code all inside Code Runner on my desktop. Time to put it on podfeed.com. I opened up a page inside WordPress and I plopped in the code. I hit preview with breathless excitement, and it looked horrible. And I mean, ugly as sin would have been a vast improvement over what it looked like. At all sizes, all of the content was jammed over into this small column on the left. There was this huge gap between the big logo and the text, and the little Podcatcher Island icons were jumbled up like you'd toss them on the table like dice. There were even different sizes for no apparent reason. Well, I tapped Bart on Telegram, and he explained that what I was trying to do would never work. I was devastated. But in his next breath, he explained a way to make it work. He said that inside WordPress, I should put a single line in that's called an iframe. This is a container that will point to the raw HTML file that I would then upload to my server. He said that when he had time, he'd read the documentation on iframes and how to make it actually work properly. But I didn't want to wait. I tootled off and I read it myself, and I got it to work. When I was later asking Bart for praise for my amazing programming skills, he said the thing he was most pleased with was that I had read the fine manual, or as he likes to say, RTFM. That's where he's trying to get us to, because if we can RTFM, we can stand on our own 2 feet. So I was 99% successful at this point. Everything flowed the way I wanted it to, except for one thing. When in the narrowest of sizes on a phone, the text under one of the icons would move from centered under its logo to left justified. I should explain the 4 icons I had chosen were Apple Podcasts, the RSS icon, Overcast, and finally Pocket Cast. I chose those 3 podcatchers because they're popular and because they support links in a browser. Anyway, the misaligned text at small sizes was the word/acronym RSS. You know, Dorothy and I love to noodle programming stuff while we're exercising on the elliptical, so I described the problem to her and I demonstrated how it looked on my iPhone. She suggested maybe the RSS was getting shoved over to the left because the podcatcher names on the right were too wide. Well, that was an idea worth pursuing. I did some more RTFMing and I figured out a solution. With Bootstrap, you can tell the code to display or display none depending on size. So I created acronyms for the 3 podcatchers, that is AP, OC, and PC, and I told Bootstrap, use the acronyms, display the acronyms when the screen size was extra small, and hide the full-size names. But from small on up, hide the acronyms and show the full title instead. Guess what? It actually worked. So I am pleased to announce that I have published the most amazing webpage of all time, hand-coded with my own little hands, with the guidance of Bart, the noodling with Dorothy, the encouragement of the NosillaCastaways in the Slack, and of course, the fine manual. Now, I keep it as my homepage now on my iPhone and on my Mac, and I constantly rotate my phone from landscape to portrait and shrink it and big it in my browser with just to watch how beautifully the page performs at all of the breakpoints. You should go do this too. Go to podfeed.com, click on subscribe to the podcast at the top, and be amazed. Or click on the link I put in the show notes and enjoy the awesomeness. By the way, when I was all finished, I sent the link to Alex at Site Origin, and I made him admire it as well. Well, I got to go rub some Bengay on my shoulder now from patting myself on the back, so that's enough about this. Whew.
Nice.
I was excited reading that, wasn't I?
RTFMing?
Read the fine manual.
Oh, fine. That's it. Yes.
The first time Bart said told me to RTFM, I got really mad at him. He said, "What? What did I say?"
So you used the word tootle and noodle in the same post.
Did I? That's good stuff.
The words tootle and noodle. Is
shoot.
tootling tootle is still used?
Well,
I guess
can
by
tootle
you.
around, can't you? Can you do me a favor?
What?
Can you find that blog post and switch it from draft to published again? I think it's going to be in draft status.
The one
when I edit it the way I did it, it ends up in draft again.
All right, the one you just read.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it is in draft mode. Want me to publish?
Yeah. Yes, please. Okay. Whew. I don't know if I have the energy to read another one. But there was a reason I need to do it. Yeah, maybe I should save the Ring of Security.
Yeah, you got a lot going on here.
I got too much. Okay. A-Logic is next. Chapter mark? Should I save?
Save and chapter mark,
Did Kevin too? Yeah, Kevin told me to. Okay, good.
About 5 minutes ago.
Wait. Don't I have to actually do it?
Yeah, but you're just a little late.
I mean, I'm late. How can I be late? Copy. All right. Oh, I did solo already, right? Put that one away.
Yes.
A-Logic. They did USB docks and power banks. Did I like them? Or are they kind of meh?
They were pretty good. I think you like them, as I recall.
Is it free? Did I miss anything?
It was very Mac.
Sandy toodles all the time.
Yeah, it was very Mac-centric.
That's enough about this.
You know, I'm a sucker for USB Type-C products, and I ran across...
Okay. In case you're wondering, you are going to be held after class. All right. Next is going to be Hartkey. These the Hartkey guys are Northern Irish.
You should play a little of that one.
They were very pretty. What do you think? Rugby player, Steve? At least one of them?
Yeah. They were in good shape.
They were, whoops. Yeah. They had adorable accents. They were very funny. I don't think you showed them enough in the video, though.
That is not my purpose. It's the product. The product counts. The
Oh,
interviewer kind of secondary. Interviewer and interviewee.
I mean, at one point, I got the guy to open his shirt.
Yeah, but
still, you barely got it. You barely got that on video too.
Is that a tease?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
We're talking with Ben Carter from Hartkey, and I'm a little confused. I see a steering wheel. I see some heart action going on here. I'm watching what looks like somebody's heart rhythm here. So tell us, what are you talking about with Hartkey?
Yeah, so welcome. I'm Ben Carter from Be Secure, and we're an ECG technology company. Biometrics, as it's known today, is all around fingerprint technology, iris technology, facial recognition. And what we do differently is we're able to take real-time ECG data identify people uniquely, but at the same time understand if they're in a stress state or have problems with respiration or maybe even have an acute cardiac condition. So what we're seeing here, for example, is one of the number of different use cases we have. So my friend Adrian here, who's clearly a model, is actually wearing a module we've developed, which is actually taking this real live ECG feed.
So wait a minute, we got to see Adrian's ECG monitor here. So you've...
See, this is where I get him to take his shirt off, and Steve barely gets it on film.
Adrian.
Adrian. Okay, I forget whether Bart actually... does Bart introduce himself or not?
For what do you want now?
He's going to do a thing on... this is Bart talking about social media. Let me listen.
I'm used to it.
Oh, do you want to record your side? Oh.
I am so doing. I decided not to say blink because that would ruin your end. But yes, I'm recording.
Oh, I don't think that's the ending. Well, in a recent... All right.
You don't want to get the blink in there?
Well, he didn't do blink.
I thought I heard blink at the beginning.
No, he said, I didn't do blink.
Ah.
And I think I forgot to pull his recording.
Oh, I heard him say blink, but that's not
Yeah, he
the
said
blink.
blink.
That's not a blink.
Yeah, I'm at 42 minutes and I've got 2 more interviews. I'm definitely not doing the ring of security.
All right.
I'm used to it.
Well, in a recent Chit Chat Across the Pond Light, I had Shai Yamini on to talk about social media and how it makes us feel and why some people are starting to pull back. I'm going to play in particular.
a few minutes.
And we just kind of mashed through all the different things that we felt about it. And that compelled Bart to say that he had some words he wanted to add to that.
Hey, yeah. Well, I was doing 99%. Well, in fact, all of the time I was listening, I was nodding my head in agreement. So I'm not disagreeing with anything you guys said. You were both spot on. But I have a few additional thoughts that came to me because let me see, it was my lunchtime walk. So I was out walking along the canal and I was like, no, okay, good point. But, so I have definitely been on a serious social media detox because I was at a stage about 6 months, a year ago where I think my mental health was actually in danger. I was too cranky too often to the point where I was, if not heading for depression.
Yeah, that ain't good. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Bart on social media detox. And there is no blog post really for that.
But it's in the podcast blog.
Well, yeah, I put that he had written some notes about it in the Slack, so I stole them from there.
All right.
Thanks for coming on, Bart.
My absolute pleasure, and talk to you soon.
Okay. Cut that.
So this next one you do need to play.
Okay. Yes. So
I think you have time.
Yeah, you guys might recognize this voice. And we'll do this. Okay, I'm up to the 10th chapter, and I've got 10 and 11 to go. So, I didn't know they're called. Is it PAI or Pi? I think
it's Pi. He called it Pi.
I kept calling it PAI. What's capital P, capital A, capital I?
Well, here it's lowercase in the logo.
It is? Oh, jeez. Well, when you wrote PAI robots, you wrote it as an acronym.
Well, I just got it from the website. Leading caps, camel case.
Who knows? Okay. Here we go.
Good pleasure, and talk to you soon.
You may know him from such shows as Mamma Mia. You may have seen him not ice skating in Canada, or you've seen him in the NosillaCastaways chat rooms. But we are now talking to Shai Yamini on behalf of PAI Technologies. How are you doing today, Shai?
I'm great. Thank you, Alison. So good to see you.
I will not ask you to break into Oh, What a Beautiful Morning, but, sometimes that happens when we talk.
Yeah, no singing today.
All right. So what are we looking at here at PAI Technologies today?
Well, Pi Technology, we've got a brand new product. It's called Pi Bots, and it's an augmented reality interactive construction kit.
Okay.
So basically what it means is we're creating robots that children can interact with and learn how to code.
Oh, I like that. I like where you're going.
Yeah, so basically what we start off with is we build the robot first. So we've got a build mode right here. Yeah. So let's say we're going to build a little robot friend here called Nova. And so all this comes in the kit. We've got 6 different robots that we actually build in the game.
So for the audio listeners, he's got a little robot on a platform here, but he's got one similar he's building on an iPad.
Yes, so it shows in sort of a virtual world all the pieces that are required to build Nova. And then once it's done, it asks me to actually look at her and scan it, and it says, yep, I've built it correctly.
Okay, so he built up the pieces rapidly, but imagine you were putting it together in the actual robot, and then he pointed the screen of the iPad at the robot and said, okay, you built it correctly.
Exactly.
So now that I built it, I can play?
Now you've built it, now you can play. And the play is in augmented reality, and it creates this beautiful big world, as you can see in the TV behind me. And as you go through the gameplay, it teaches you different coding skills.
Okay.
So let me show you what the coding skills we've got available. And each robot actually has a different skill set.
Oh,
that it
okay.
does. So it's connecting.
So it says scanning.
Okay, I'm going to cut us off, Steve.
All right. Well, you'll just have to go listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I know you don't ever listen, but so there's a new microphone in town. I need that woman to give me one of these. Don't you think?
Sure. It was a pretty cool mic.
Yeah, it's cool looking. It's
Yeah,
this
it was.
Tall, thin little mic.
Let me go get a picture of it.
Do a shootout on it.
Not bad when you compare it to some of the other high-tech stuff that's out there. Very cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Shai.
My pleasure. So good to see you.
Well, let's see. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. I'm just going to go straight into blue.
Chapter mark?
I did, thank you. Kevin told me to. I do what I'm
Good.
told.
Good.
A lot of podcasters and people who use microphones in general love the microphones from Blue. They've been around forever with great quality microphones, and they have the new Blue Ember they're very excited about, and I'm here with Hillary Money, who's going to tell us about it.
Yeah, so we're real excited at CES to launch Ember, which is a XLR microphone for recording podcasts, maybe online YouTubes, blogs, even music. It's an XLR microphone, so you're moving up into that more professional setup for $99.
$99 XLR microphone. Holy cow. Now I'm looking at this, and it is pencil thin is what I would call it. Much thinner than a normal big girl mic, as I would call it. Looks like it's maybe only about 1.5 inches in diameter. Little tiny thing.
All right. It's dope or it's sick. Okay. Come on. Where aren't you going? Do you have a picture of it, Steve? I can't hear you. What's that?
I'm about to bring it up.
Okay.
I'm just getting it now.
All right. 1 hour and 1.
There she is.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? All right. I'm going to close it. I'm going to bring it home now.
Blue Ember mic, where would they go?
They go to bluedesigns.com.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, I actually had one more story to tell you, but I'm going to save my sorry eyes here. And I think you've got enough show for this week. I'll save it for next week. That's going to wind us up for this week, that means. And don't forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions. You can email me at allison@podfeed.com. You can follow me on Twitter @podfeed. Remember, anything you're looking for starts with podfeed.com. You want to become a Patreon? Podfeed.com/Patreon. You want to, you got that fear of commitment? You want to do PayPal? Podfeed.com/PayPal. Want to join our Facebook group? Podfeed.com/Facebook. Want to join our Slack group? Podfeed.com/Slack. You can go talk about programming by stealth, anything you want over there. You can also join our chat room during the live show at podfeed.com/chat. And if you want to join the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. All right.
That's a wrap.
We lost the new person again.
Yeah, where did she go?
Yeah, I
And-
never found
and
out.
They
what
said
their
that
real
they
name
were
was.
having issue finding the video feed. I don't know if they ever did. I think they were new to the chat room.
Hmm. Did you try to help them? Did you guys?
I did.
Was Kevin mean to them?
No. Kevin's always nice to newcomers.
No. He never would be, right? Sure. What's that? Join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. That's not gonna line up, right? Ah! Don't do that. Escape. Touch. Slide. There we go. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. No, that's not the right spot. That's not even close. Not even close. Come on. Slide over. For listening and stay subscribed. Thank you, Rick. I think we are a wrap. It is 5:54. I got it done, and the show is an hour and 3 minutes long. Thank you to Steve.
You're welcome. That sounded
All right, guys. You're welcome. That sounded natural. Okay, you guys want to check on my eye one more time? See if it's
see
better
if
dilated?
the dilation's coming down a bit.
All right.
I could put in that picture that I took earlier.
How's it look?
Let me go full frame. Hold on. No, it's still pretty well dilated.
Can you see the dots on the eye?
It's hard to see in this view, but
Okay.
I still see the dot I drew on your forehead.
Still right there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Appreciate your attendance and enjoyment, and we will see you next week. Bye, Rose.